on?
Remember this? You gotta move this way. Power up the transformer. Nice. Move the gantry.
What?
The gantry.
What's a gantry?
There you go. Start the countdown.
What's that?
The start button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire the rocket.
Oh my God.
It worked.
Now what are you gonna do?
Raise the price. When we started this project, the only thing that worked was the countdown timer, but it was very slow. It would go very slow around. The light would turn off around here, and probably not make it back. The gantry button did not work at all, and the fire button did not work at all. And I don't believe this has any function at all. It's just a slider to make you feel good. First step is to make sure everything is properly wired on the back of the rocket controller per these instructions. One of the outer wires actually has ribs running longitudinally on the insulation. In this case, it's this particular one, and I marked it with a piece of tape, and this is where you'll start the wiring. And so this one goes to B, the next one over goes to C, the next one over goes to A, and the opposite goes to D. So this is the gantry. This is the fire button, and this is the countdown light. Looking at the inside, the important thing to remember is B is basically the hot lead to the middle of the two buttons. When I push here, it operates the gantry. When I push here, it fires the rocket. And then this is the contact being made for the countdown light. This is the mechanism for the gantry. The problem with mine was this string, which gets wrapped around twice around that pulley and then attaches to the spring, had fallen off the pulley, and therefore the gantry wasn't moving at all. And so we had to rewrap this. And the way you have to do it is you have to lift this up so that this will clear the pole there. And then you can lift this out, do the windings, and slide it back in. This is the wire that goes out to the firing solenoid. And then we have the two wires here for the electromagnet. The electromagnet creates a vibration back and forth, which drives this pulley, which drives this gear, which rotates this cam essentially and moves the gantry forward and aft. Finally is the rocket launcher itself. This is a pretty primitive mechanism with a plunger. That spring gives you the power, and when you push this down, it reveals the collar on that piece. We can pull it out. There you go. So you can see the collar on this piece, and that collar is what catches this tab on that on this tongue here. And so you can kind of see how this locks that in. And it's really super important. Two things are important about this. One is you can't have a lot of resistance in here, so I put a drop of oil here, a drop of oil there, and I also separated them a little bit because it was binding. This has to be able to fall down. So if you go like this and lift it and it doesn't fall down, then it's not going to work because it's not going to lock the plunger in position for liftoff. But as long as it falls down, you're good to go. The other thing is this tab right here has to be slightly inclined down. It's kind of hard to demonstrate, but you can imagine that tab moving out of the way as this comes down, blocking at the top where that washer is. And now in order to release it, this tongue the solenoid pushes this tongue up, that releases the rocket. So I had to make adjustments on this. This tab was bent too far and it wasn't catching the rocket. And I had to make adjustments on this to allow this to fall down. Another thing to be aware of on getting electricity to the solenoid that pushes this tongue up is this wire. This wire is double insulated. We have a black insulation, we have a clear insulation, and this particular wire has only been stripped at the very, very tip. And that's why we couldn't get any electricity to the solenoid. So I'll demonstrate that in a second. This slot has to go right here. The tolerances on this plate are really tight.